The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve again.
Listen, my relationship with this next person is maybe about 12 hours long because that's when I first contacted her last night on Twitter. But I got to tell you, I spent a good amount of the day today doing some research. Now, I've told you, we've had some women wrestlers on the show, but I think in the short time that I've known her, this may be the toughest woman we've ever had on the show for multiple reasons that I'm going to get into. But before I go any further, let me introduce you to my guest. You could have seen her on this year's edition of WWE's Tough Enough, and I'm talking about Daria Berenato. Daria, are you there?
Are you there? What's going on, Vince? You actually pronounced my name right. You must be Italian.
Listen, I was so worried. I'm going to butcher the name, but when there's a vowel at the end, I know my percentages go up.
They definitely do. You definitely have that Italian-New York thing going on, and it's something that I love.
Well, listen, Daria, that's why, listen, you're a girl after my own heart. I know you've been doing press all over the place, and I read the questions they're asking you, yada, 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 yada. Listen, as soon as I read your bio, I have a completely different line of questioning for you, because here's what I loved about you immediately when I saw on your Twitter account. You know, you could go to the full account, get as much information as you can, and here's the first thing that I saw that she's coming on the show. The first word after your name is Italian.
That is a good word, and I'm so glad that you relate to me on that level, because my heritage and where I come from is obviously very important to me, hence the Jersey Devil nickname I carry.
Now, Daria, please don't burst my bubble. I don't think you're going to burst my bubble, because just looking at you, my guess has to be, the fingers are crossed. Are we talking about 100% Guinea Italian across the board?
You're talking about 100% Guinea Italian across the board.
Now, here's my next favorite question. This is what I always love, because it's always a great name. What's your mother's maiden name?
It's actually... Mace.
Mace?
Yeah, they changed it when they came over, so it's not your traditional name.
You know, a lot of people did that. My own grandparents did the same thing. When they came over, they Americanized their names. So I totally understand. But yeah. So both sides of the family Italian. So you grew up in Jersey?
Yeah, born and raised in New Jersey. Both sides are Italian. They cook Italian, the 7 fishes, the whole 9 yards.
This is a girl after my own heart. We're talking about the fish on Christmas Eve, the whole shebang.
Yep, the whole shebang, bacala, all that.
This is what I'm talking. This is why I was interested in you all the time. Oh. So you had that real rich Italian heritage.
Yeah, the only thing I don't do Italian, which is pretty embarrassing, is speak the language, because my parents never spoke it, and I just never learned it. But I can definitely cook Italian.
Now, Daria, did their parents speak it? Because my grandparents used to talk Italian around the house when they didn't want us to know what they were saying.
Yeah, that's the kind of deal I got going on, for sure.
Now, was this traditional, Daria? By traditional, I mean, listen, Daria, I got to tell you, listen, I'm old school, Daria. I'm the Italian man. Where's the family? He goes out, he makes the living, he's the breadwinner. The wife takes care of the kids. I'm that kind of a guy. Was that your childhood growing up?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, my parents got divorced when I was like 2. So my mom kind of, raised me, and my dad was always around, and they had great relationships. But so I didn't have that traditional upbringing. But as far as the cooking goes, it's as traditional as it gets. My dad is a phenomenal cook, and so is my mom. Now,
you mentioned that you cook some mean Italian. What's your best dish?
My go-to is my 4-cheese lasagna. I don't put any meat in it. I like the meat on the side. You could do the meatballs and the sausage separate. but I like the 4-cheese lasagna. You got to have the ragout in there, and it's amazing.
Oh, see now, will you ask any of these questions when you were on Tough Enough with these people?
You are by far the most talented interviewer so far, because these are the important questions.
Now, Daria, here's something that kind of like, listen, you got to know a couple things. Let me lay the groundwork as far as at my show here. First of all, people refer to me. I've been referred to as the Oprah of podcasting. That's number one. Also, Daria, you have to know now, I got to warn you, grown people have come on this show and cried, because sometimes I get the emotions out, and people have cried on the show. I just want you to know that going in.
I'm glad you forewarned me. This whole thing's been an emotional journey, so I'm prepared for some crying. Okay,
now, Daria, here's the first question I have to ask. You led me down that road. You said, your father and your mother and father got divorced when you were 2 years old. Now, were there any other siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger sister and I have an older sister. So I got a little bit of the middle child thing going on.
See, now that's where you're throwing me off, because usually girls like you, listen, you're on Tough Enough. You're an MMA fighter. Usually girls like you, what that usually tells me is tomboy. If there was no male presence really in your life growing up, what got you interested in these things?
No, my dad was always around, and me and my dad are actually super close. So there's definitely was some male presence, but he didn't get me into any of this. I'm kind of like a free bird. I've always like done my own thing, gone to the beat of my own drum, and I just discovered MMA and fell in love with it. I discovered the WWE, fell in love with it. So this is just my own journey, really.
Daria, what kind of a kid were you growing up? I need to know a little bit of the background. This way I can get into the psyche. That's why I kind of need to know where you came from so I can get a better understanding.
Okay, I grew up in the part of New Jersey that not many people know. It's South Jersey, and it's nothing but wooded area. So, I lived on like 20 acres of land in the middle of the woods. Really cool. I rode quads, dirt bikes, golf carts, you name it, I did it. It was outside. Went hunting. So I grew up kind of like a tomboy, but I was, I dressed feminine and all that kind of stuff. In school, I was the troublemaker. I was totally the class clown, totally the jabberjaws.
Let me guess, loudmouth Italian.
Yeah, that's I think what they would refer to me as. There you go. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I'd never. Teachers would just like call my parents and be like, "We can't get her to stop talking." Like I was the girl, the senior year of high school, that was sitting in the hallway in a chair because the teacher just couldn't shut me up. She was like, "Go sit in the hallway." 17 years old.
Now, Daria, obviously you're an attractive girl, but like, were you the girl that like hung out with all the guys and was like all the guys' buddies? What were you that girl growing up?
Believe it or not, not really. I had a lot of girlfriends, and I was always tight with the girls. I always had like a big group of friends, and guys were of course in it. And yeah, all the dudes were kind of like my boys, they always had my back. I understood them, I think, more than the other girls. So I definitely related to guys, but I totally had my girls too.
Now, okay. So now you graduate from high school in Jersey. Do you go on to college?
I graduate from high school in New Jersey, and I get in my car and I drive to South Florida to train with the best MMA school in the country, American Top Team, literally the day of my graduation.
See, now, Daria, this is where I mark out. This is where I mark out, because I try to get in the psyche, especially in a woman. Listen, I'm not, Daria, I'm not an MMA fan, but I watch MMA. I know all about MMA. I'm a fan of Ronda Rousey. Who isn't a fan of Ronda Rousey? But when I watch MMA, like, first of all, I think I was on Chael Sonnen's show, and Chael's been on my show. Would you agree with this? First of all, if you want to get in MMA and you want to be locked in a cage with somebody, would you agree that there's got to be a little, dementa you got to be a little off kilter a little bit. Would you agree with that?
Do you think I'm off kilter? I don't think so.
But I do, because going in locking yourself in a cage with another human being where anything goes and you can come out hurt badly, that's like not normal. So what goes through your mind to go down this road?
The way you say it makes it sound really scary. I agree, absolutely. But no, it's a sport. I mean, I'm competitive. I am really competitive. It's in my blood. It's in my nature. And when I get in there, all I think is, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Not because I'm violent or because I'm aggressive, but because that's how you win. And, I like to win.
No, it's a little demented. Listen, you talk about that. You talk about competitive. I get competitive. We can play softball. We could play tennis. Maybe beat somebody's brains in tennis. Maybe play a little volleyball. Maybe do something like that. You're locking yourself in a cage with another human being, and somebody's going to get hurt in the cage. Don't you think that goes a little beyond competition? Because in order to have that kind of a mindset, you got to have a killer instinct. Correct?
You definitely have to have it in you, because I've seen people try and train MMA and try and get into the sport, and they don't have that need to go in there and hurt somebody, which is what they look at it as. But I definitely have that in me. I need to get it out. I need to go in there, and it's the best feeling in the world, to be honest.
Daria, I had this discussion with Chael a little bit, and I was very, very interested in this discussion. And he even said this to me. When you go in that cage, of course, now listen, let me ask you this, Daria. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I would have to think preparing for a match and getting in an MMA cage that the mental is just as important as the physical. Would that be fair?
You hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. It's everything in MMA. I mean, you see guys and girls, I see guys and girls all the time that have a great win streak, and then all of a sudden they lose one, and then they lose another one, and then they lose another one, and then they kind of spiral down, and that's all mental. This game is all mental. If you go in there and you're confident, and obviously you have to have good technique, but if you're confident and you're going to win, and you're cool in there, and you're not freaking out and having an adrenaline dump, you have a successful path ahead of you. But there's only a certain few people that can handle the pressure of being locked in a cage and, not being let out until either someone's passed out, knocked out, or, they tap out, or the bell rings.
Well, Daria, let me ask you that. I mean, listen, I would understand how you train physically. I mean, we all get that. I understand that. But how does an MMA fighter, how do you train mentally? Like, what do you do to get mentally prepared?
You don't. You either have it in you or you don't. And I've seen it so much in the past, 5 years of doing this sport. You see people that try to have it and they don't have it in them. You really have to have a certain personality and a certain kind of attitude to be in this sport. And you just have to accept the facts of the matter for what they are and not try to make more of it, You can't overthink things.
Now, Daria, let me ask you this, because this is what Chael said to me. Chael said to me, he said, because I asked him, he goes, I wouldn't be lying if I didn't tell you that there wasn't a part of me that wasn't scared every time he got into that ring. He said there's a part of him that's scared because, like you said, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know what kind of a condition you're going to come out of that fight. Do you deal with that as well?
The only, and this is the dead honest truth, the only fear inside my mind when I'm in the cage is, shit, if I lose, I'm going to be disappointing so many people. That is the only fear. Never do I think, oh my God, am I going to get hurt? Never, 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 never. And that's just the truth. I don't get scared of getting injured or anything like that. And maybe it's because I'm young and, I don't realize it or whatever people think. But it's not the fear. It's the fear of losing and disappointing the people that train me and the people that, look up to me.
Now, Daria, I was reading this. I don't know if this is correct. That's why I'm going to ask you. Do you have three fights under your belt?
Yeah, I have 3 fights on record in the state of California, but I also have a dozen or so grappling tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments, and stuff like that, nationally ranked.
Hey, Daria, let me ask you this as a fighting athlete. Daria, what happens? I mean, honestly, I'm so intrigued by this because you see my thing. Wish I was tough. I'm a wimp. I'm a wuss. I mean, Daria, I'm all these things. That's why, I have to live vicariously through the tough people that come on the show. Here's what I want to ask you, Daria. When you're in a match, an MMA fight or a competition, a physical fight, what is the reaction? What starts happening when you're in trouble? When you're in trouble, is it more of a defense mode, not to get hurt? How does the mind switch when all of a sudden it's, I'm in trouble here?
Well, I think part of our training is to train our brains to, when, fight or flight is what everyone's brain goes through when they get in a fight. It's fight or flight. You go in defense mode, you freak out, or you fight, And as an MMA fighter, we train ourselves that when we get in that fight or flight mode, we know to fight, and we know how to defend ourselves, and we know how to react offensively as well. So I think in trouble, I've been in a couple bad positions in my fights. I've been in a really deep choke. And like I said, the only thing going through my mind when I get in bad positions is you cannot lose this. You cannot lose this fight. And that's kind of the thing that goes through my mind, and I just do everything in my power. If you watch my fights, you'll see how active I am.
But Daria, let me ask you this. You just said, listen, I was in a deep choke. I can't even imagine anybody deep choking me. But you can honestly tell me, like, when you're in that deep choke, you're actually still thinking about winning the fight?
Oh, that's the only thing that's going through my mind. Literally the only thing.
That's unbelievable to me.
I mean, it's my life. It's been my life for the past couple years, and I would do anything to be the best. Like I said, I'm a rare breed. I'm really, really passionate about everything I do, and I think that kind of came across on Tough Enough when I cried a couple times during the show, because I love hard and I hate hard.
Okay, now so you'd have like no problem. I mean, if it was the Rocky Apollo Creed song, I go to the Rocky story a lot, Daria. Just so you know, you say I got Rocky behind me.
I see him right there. Yeah.
So I go to the Rocky story light. So all of a sudden, if Daria gets a call from Ronda Rousey, who's looking to give that kid the opportunity, you would not even think twice about getting in a cage with Ronda Rousey.
No, that's an opportunity of a lifetime. But
this girl's like she's a killer. This girl, this Ronda Rousey.
She is, and she's amazing. It's like getting a WWE match with the best wrestler ever. You're not going to say no.
Why do you keep jumping ahead of me to Tough Enough and the WWE? I'm not there yet, Daria. Let me do this. I'm not done with the MMA gimmick.
I got you.
Daria, I got to ask you this. I feel sorry for Ronda Rousey because I think Ronda Rousey's in a terrible position, and I'll tell you why. First of all, she's not even human. She's not even a cyborg. I don't know what you would call her. She is so freaking dangerous and in such a class above herself. But here's the thing that I see. When somebody is that good, doesn't she have to be faced with the reality that she's gonna have to lose? And once she loses that first fight, then her entire career is going to change. Do you agree or disagree with that? Because I think that is such a tremendous amount of pressure.
There is more pressure than anything on Ronda Rousey. Absolutely. Every fight she goes in, like you said, that one loss, kind of ruins the Ronda Rousey name going on. But that being said, I think she's that definitive that I don't see her losing. I don't know who you could put in there that would give her a hard time.
You know what? I was interviewing this Emmy-winning journalist, Susan Cingrani. I don't know if you know her or not, but she covers MMA. She said the same exact thing. She said, I don't think Ronda Rousey's going to lose a fight.
Right. Yeah, it's quite possible that she's going to do a Floyd Mayweather and retire undefeated. I just see it happening. That's
unbelievable. Okay, now let's transition over to this Tough Enough thing. Tell me how this comes about, how you find out about this, and the next thing you know, you're in the competition and on TV. Kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, so I do a podcast myself for AfterBuzz TV, which is owned and ran by Maria Menounos, who has made appearances in the WWE, and she's also E-News host and all that good stuff. And
now, when you talk to, let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you talk to Maria Menounos, has she ever brought up my name?
No, but I didn't tell her I was coming on here, so it wouldn't have came up in conversation.
Okay, maybe in a future conversation, but go ahead. So I know Maria. She's a great talent. I'm a big Howard Stern fan, so I know her through that show. Do you know a wrestler by the name of Bob Backlund?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Backlund was very good friends with her. So I definitely know of her, and I know you are hosting this show. So you're hosting a podcast on her network. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I host the UFC show on her network. So me and her have become, close, and she's kind of like my mentor. Anything I do, I always run it by her because she's a successful woman that I definitely want to follow in her footsteps. And she kind of was like, there's this opportunity. It's WWE Tough Enough, and you would be perfect for this. You know, you already fight. You already know all the combative stuff. Like, I think this is the perfect opportunity for you. And I was like, oh, my God, yeah, like, I would love that. How do I do it? And she's like, you got to submit a video and hope for the best. You know, a lot of people are auditioning, but I think they're going to like the fact that you're an MMA fighter and, you know, you have experience. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I made a video, and a couple weeks later, you know, actually months went by, and then finally I got the call, and then it was like a couple-week process of getting to the top 40, competing in the challenges to get into the top 13 in the house. And wow, was that the best choice I've ever made in my entire life.
Now, you see, I was reading up on you, Daria, a little bit today. But you know, I've been in the professional wrestling business for 20 years, whatever the case may be. I don't even remember. I'm too old to even remember anymore. But here's the thing where I'm a little confused, okay? Because we just talked about your MMA career. And, you know, you talk about that competitive nature and win. You talk about that, right? But wrestling really isn't that. You know, wrestling is really more of the entertainment aspect, the show. The fights aren't real. So, like, it intrigues me a little bit the way that you would be interested in both businesses. Do you get something different out of both businesses?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I say win, it's winning in life. You know, in MMA, the way to get to the top is to win, which is why I win. In WWE, the way to get to the top isn't always winning. And that's a different factor that I can accept because I'm still winning by not winning, if that makes sense. So when I say winning, I mean succeeding in life and doing the things I want to do and you know, living out my dream. And that's winning to me. So winning is WWE, is performing in front of people, is making people smile or maybe hate you.
Well, but there is a big entertainment aside to that, and now you know, I would think, Daria, when you're in there training MMA, when you're locked in that cage with somebody, you're not really too concerned about entertaining people. You're fighting. You got to beat this person, or this person's going to hurt you. In the WE, in professional wrestling, now you're constantly on and you're constantly entertaining. Did you have any kind of a background like that in your past where you felt totally comfortable going into that genre?
Absolutely. I mean, you need to go back and watch my fights because, trust me, I, on accident, am entertaining. I mean, all the promoters are like, oh, we want Jersey Devil on our card, because I do naturally entertain. I love to talk. I host my show, so I definitely have that background. But I also am an actor. I produced a couple movies of my own in New Jersey, and you know, we were in a couple film festivals and stuff, and so I do have that performing background that has been me all along. I love to talk, I love to perform, I love to entertain. So that's actually the part of the WWE that will come most natural to me out of everything, which is funny.
Is it fair to say that now, since we've formed a relationship, you'll be putting me in your next film?
Absolutely, except right now my priority is WWE. So
okay, yeah. So let's talk about the WWE and the Tough Enough. Now you get in the house with 13 other competitors, right?
Yep.
Talk to me about that. I mean, just the fact of, you know, living with 13 other people up to this point, where you're living on your own. Bring me through that alone. Yeah,
right now I live with my girlfriend, but we hardly ever see each other because prior to going on the show, I worked full-time managing a bar, and on top of that, I trained like 6 hours a day. So literally we, you know, in crossing, we see each other as much as we can. So moving into a house with 13 other people was actually awesome because, like I said, I never went to college. I never got that dorm experience. I never got to, you know, do all the college things. So it was like a big, giant university to me. It was awesome.
But now let me ask you this, though, Daria. You got to be careful here because, Daria, listen, two things. First of all, I'm going to hit on the Italian and the wrestling thing. First of all, Italians, we make the mistake. Tell me if you're this way. I'm this way. We make the mistake of wearing our hearts on our sleeves and trusting everybody. Are you one of these people?
Very funny you say that. I kind of am, but when I'm in a hostile situation like this, like where it's like, I'm going to bite your head off to beat you in this competition, I kind of had a little bit of a guard up, but luckily enough for me, it actually worked out to my benefit because I made amazing friends in the house. Gigi and Amanda definitely are similar to me in that aspect where we're friendly. You know, we wanted to have a good time while we were there. We wanted to to be nice to one another and enjoy each other's company. So it was actually a lot of fun. But yes, I do wear my heart.
Well, you know what, Daria, let me ask you this though. Listen, wrestling, I've been in wrestling for a very long time and a fan for a very long time. And part of the wrestling business is, wrestling business a long time ago was set up, the wrestlers are independent contractors. So it was set up in an environment where they're constantly competing with each other for that spot. So there's not a team atmosphere. It's very individualized, and it's still that way to this day. Now, when you were in the house, how did you know, Daria, who genuinely wanted to be your friend and who might have been working you in order to get the advantage of the show? Were you aware of this immediately, or is this something maybe you learned the hard way?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard going in there, and, but I like to pride myself on having a really good judge of character. So going in there, you can feel the vibes, you know who's there to knock you the hell down the steps and step right on top of your head, and you know who can kind of handle the competition aspect whilst being competitive and still being, that fierce competitor. And you can tell right away. I mean, me and Diana didn't hit it off great. I didn't really trust her. I definitely don't trust Gabby as far as I can throw her. And now that Sarah Lee made that alliance with Gabby, I didn't really trust her too much. So I found the girls that I did trust, and I found the girls that I didn't trust.
But how was that? How was that? You dealing with that part of it. Like, did that take the fun out of it, or did that get you more into the process?
No, it was fun. You can't hate anything about this experience, or you're doing something wrong. I mean, this is an experience of a lifetime, and you get to share it with people. It was really cool, and it's kind of like a pre-foreseen version of what you're going to have when you're in NXT, when you're in the WWE, dealing with people in the locker rooms. And like Hulk Hogan said, having that locker room etiquette, which I think is important. And, I'm the type of person, how Italians are. We get along with everybody. We talk to everybody. We want to be friends with everybody. Unfortunately, in this kind of situation, you find enemies as well, because there's 13 larger-than-life personalities living under one roof.
Yeah. Okay, now as you start going through the competition, is there anything in the process that surprises you? Are they were they looking for something more than something else? In other words, there's so much that goes into being a wrestler. There's the mental, there's the physical, there's the conditioning, there's the showmanship. There's so much that goes into it. So once you got into the process, were you taken by surprise of maybe one aspect of being a wrestler having more importance over another? What was your feeling those first couple of weeks?
The first couple of weeks was really just figuring out, like you said, what is this game all about? What do I need to do to make it to the end? And that's a long process, and it's a tedious process, because you have a lot of heads in this game. You want to impress the WWE. You want to, even if you don't win this, you want to be in contention for a contract if that's possible. And, you want to just be respectful, but at the same time be entertaining. So that was probably the hardest thing to juggle, because I'm definitely a loud Italian, like you said. We're like that. We're passionate. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. So I wanted to be me and be real, but at the same time, I'm a respectful person, and I don't like to curse a lot or get too heated to the point where I can't control my emotions. So it was kind of just figuring out that fine line between entertainment and, ridiculousness.
You think you were able to figure that out?
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job of balancing that. I think the third week I stepped out of the limelight of the drama a little bit, because it just what naturally happened. I wasn't in that drama that week. And, I think that's what kind of hurt me and end all be all sent me home. But at the same time, I was true to myself, so I can't regret it.
How do you think that hurt you?
Well, I think that the more you start trouble and the more you talk and the more you're involved, the more people see on TV and the more people either love you or love to hate you. And that's what the WWE is all about. You can be a villain, you can be a heel, and that's fine, because people will hate you, but they'll love to hate you, so to speak. So I think I just stepped out of the limelight a little bit, and naturally that didn't let people continue to see who Daria Berenato really is.
Do you regret that?
I don't regret it. I don't regret anything in life. I think that you learn and you live, and everything happens for a reason. But I would take that knowledge now and I would go back and probably change a couple things, or maybe, you know.
But I think you said the most important thing, and I'll tell you this: with over 20 years of wrestling, of experience in the wrestling business, I think you said the most important thing to me. You were true to yourself, and to me, at the end of the day, that's really the only thing that matters to me. Because I got it, you know, Daria, you got a little taste of it. There's a lot of people in the wrestling business that, you know, aren't really sincere. You know, it's the nature of the beast. It's just how the business is. And I was kind of the same way like you. I got myself in a lot of trouble. I put myself on the outside looking in a lot of times because to me, it was more important for me to be, you know, true to myself. So I just I love you saying that because and you talked about it earlier. That's not just in wrestling. That's in life.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you believe in your character and you believe in who you are, it makes it that much easier because I wasn't being true to myself and sitting there in the corner like, what am I going to do? I was true to myself, and I think I was entertaining as hell. So when you believe in who you are and your character, and I believe that it can sell itself, you know, I don't need to do much more.
Yeah, and you're still going to go on with the dream of competing in the WWE. This isn't going to stop you, right?
Absolutely not. I've already made my phone calls. I've already line some things up that are pretty exciting for my future. So
now let me ask you this though, Daria, are you going to now train for both? Are you going to be training for MMA the same time you're training for professional wrestling and the WWE? And if so, like, how do you even do that?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do, Vince. The 16-hour days that I manage a bar, like I said, so I would work from open till close. Those hours are now going to be put to use for training both. I'm going to do WWE, I'm going to do MMA, and I think they're both going to help each other simultaneously, and I'm going to make some sacrifices in my life. I'm going to do what I have to do so that I don't have to work full-time and that I don't have to waste those hours doing something that doesn't make me truly happy.
Okay, let me ask you this. Some of the players, you know, I'm talking about judges, I'm talking about the coaches, you know, talk to me about the experience you had with, you know, some of these people, you know, who you really felt you gelled with, who was maybe a little tough, who maybe you couldn't, you know, read 100%. Just some of your experiences with some of the WWE personalities behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, we really got a lot of time to hang out with the coaches, obviously, more than the judges. So I feel like I connected with Lita and Billy Gunn a lot. I feel like they understood who I was. When the auditioning process started, I don't really think they got me. And I think as time went on, they really got to appreciate where I came from and who I was. Lita, obviously, is a strong woman in this sport who really paved the way for a lot of women in this sport. And I look up to her, you know, as a huge role model. So Lita is definitely one of the ones that I really enjoyed spending time with the most. Billy Gunn is a sweetheart, and he really cares. Like, he was there to help us and nothing else. Booker T didn't really take to me that much, I don't think, for whatever reason. I just don't think he got who I am, so to speak.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was working with Billy. I mean, I go back with him, the WWE, but then I worked again with him at TNA. Man, I got to tell you, the way he worked with the girls in the knockouts division was unbelievable. So I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to him. I was so impressed of the way he took those girls under the wing. And here's the one thing that I was really, I really loved about when I stood back and watched them, just this patience. You know, a lot of times when somebody's trying to learn the business and you're a veteran that knows it so well, it's hard to keep your patience. He was such a patient guy, so I'm sure you had some great experiences with him.
Oh, my God. You couldn't have said it better. Billy Gunn is definitely a patient man, and he gets it, you know. He gets that we don't know anything coming into this. He gets that you have to break it down piece by piece, and some people are going to get it faster than others. Billy Gunn's truly, truly a great coach.
Now, Daria, when you were, you know, yesterday was your last week on the show, did you see that coming? Did you have a feeling, or were you just totally taken by surprise?
Hell no. I was shocked. When they called me down in the bottom three, I looked around and I was like, what? I mean, I think you see it in the episode. I raised my hands. I'm like, what? I know for a fact I was one of the most athletic girls in that house, if not the most athletic girl in that house. I know for a fact I have one of the biggest personalities in that house. So it really, really surprised me. I think I was the most well-rounded potential diva in that house. So I was shocked.
But now, Daria, let me ask you this, because I'm not sure about this. I want to make sure I'm correct. Now, the fans, though, I think it was through Twitter, they're the ones who are actually doing the voting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when I got put in the bottom 3 with the 2 fan favorites, ZZ and Sarah Lee, it was like, here we go. See you guys later.
Yeah. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the fans voting. Like, is it fair to say if you obviously you had to be one of the most well-rounded, you are an MMA fighter, no question about it. But like, do you kind of get the feeling that maybe the fans were a little bit more into the drama?
I don't know though, because Sarah Lee wasn't in much of the drama and neither was ZZ. So it's not really fair to say that. I think it's fair to say that they made a better first impression on the fans, or they have a more relatable personality, and I think that's what people cling to them about. They see ZZ, he's a small town boy, he's funny as hell, you like to laugh with him. Sarah Lee is a small town girl. I guess they just liked what they had, more so. But if you look at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram now, I mean, my fans are really rioting the fact that I got cut, Yeah.
Well, Daria, I want to talk to you, too, about something a little – we could talk a little personal now, right?
Yeah, we can go there.
Okay, let's go there. I know during the course of this competition, at one point, you came out on national television and you told the world for the first time, that you were gay. And listen, first of all, I got to tell you, I've never had a gay person on this show before. So congratulations, you are my first one. Right. So now I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions that I never got to ask anybody before. But here's what I want to, I'm going to relate it to this a little way, Daria, and I'll tell you why. Daria, I'm a Christian. And I know a lot of times, like my whole life is I'm supposed to be out there telling people I'm a Christian. I believe in God. It's the way I live my life. Like that's what I'm supposed to do. But, it's very tough because, there is that fear. You are going to be judged, how people are going to look at you, what they're going to say about you, yada, 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 yada. So I want to ask you this question, and it may seem naive to you, but I'm just being honest because I don't know. When you you're gay and you're not coming out and you're not sharing it with anybody else and you're keeping it your secret, is that out of fear? Is that out of the fear of not being accepted? Is it the fear of hurting family? Like, what is it that you're living with prior to letting anybody know?
Yeah, I think it's more so just the fact that it's easier not to say anything. And, and that's kind of how I've lived my life for the past couple of years. It's just like I have a girlfriend. I'm happy. My parents know. Why does anybody else need to know? And I don't think it was until this opportunity and this whole journey that I realized, wait a second, yeah, people need to know. And, yeah, I should talk about it on the show. Now, mind you, I figured this out after I talked about it, but I'm realizing now, like, why wouldn't you share this on a national platform, on a public platform? Because now I'm getting emails and messages from people saying, you gave me the courage to come out to my mom. You gave me the courage to come out to my parents or whatever the case may be. And that's, like, the best feeling in the world to me.
When does, like, again, these questions are so naive, but I'm so interested in this. Okay. Now I'm assuming, Daria, you lived a good portion of your life knowing this, correct?
Yeah, I think there was a long period of time where I was in denial for sure. I mean, I dated guys my entire life. I had long relationships with, my past boyfriends, and there was definitely always something off about my prior relationships compared to my current relationship with my girlfriend, Christina. So it was definitely a long process of like, is it just not the right guy? Or is it the fact that I can't love a guy? What is it? So it was an interesting process figuring it out, but I'm definitely clear on the fact of what I want now. So was
it really like, what was it hard making the decision to come out, or like once you made that decision, it's like you just couldn't wait for the stage?
No, I didn't plan on coming out at all, and it was a really nerve-wracking thought. I was nervous about it before the show started. I talked to my girlfriend about it. I was like, if they come up and ask me if I'm in a relationship, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? And she was like, no, do whatever you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want. And I was like, okay. And I was scared, am I allowed to curse on this? Shitless?
Yeah, of course.
Say that? Okay. I was scared shitless, like, what do you do? What do you say? How are people going to take this? Am I now going to be the girl that's gay on Tough Enough? I don't want to be that. Like, I don't want to be labeled as that. I don't want to be getting hate mail. Like, can I handle this? It was a really scary moment, and when it came out, it just came out, and I didn't think about anything else.
Was it harder coming out publicly, or was it harder telling your parents beforehand?
Coming out publicly. When I told my parents are awesome. They love me to death. I don't think there's anything I could do that would make them stop loving me, So telling my parents, it was just like, oh, here I go. Here this goes. Just got to do it. But telling the world is certainly scary. And, I've always had empathy, and I've always wanted to help, people in my situation. I've always wanted to be like, just be yourself. And the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing, like, really hit home. When I saw that, I was like, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, how could people hate him or her for being who she feels like she should be? Like, how dare you? So it's been a really touchy subject for a while, and I feel like I'm so glad that I did what I did, because I just feel like it's only making the world more accepting. Every person that does do this publicly is helping.
I'm sure now, like with Caitlyn Jenner, I'm sure now you can imagine. Can you imagine living that long with that secret? And basically, at the end of the day, the only reason she really came out was, Bruce, Caitlyn, woke up one day and I'm 65 years old and I don't want to die with this secret. I mean, now you having been there and coming out at such a young age, could you even imagine holding something like that inside for so long?
No, and that's what upsets me the most about it. It's just the fact that she was scared for so long to just be honest about herself. Imagine that. Like, imagine that if you had black hair, you weren't accepted in the world. So you would dye your hair gray every day. And then one day you were like, screw it, I'm just going to dye my hair black and see what everyone says. And imagine everyone ridiculing you. It's the scariest thing ever. And I can't compare, being gay and being a transgender person, because I don't know that they're that similar, but I could definitely compare the fact of hiding a secret for so long and then coming out, and it's really, really kind of revelating. It feels amazing. It's like I got a weight off my shoulders once I finally did it, but that journey leading up to doing it was horrible. I felt,
Now you said your girlfriend's name was Christina?
Yes.
Now, what does she do? Because I'm so curious with this, because you are like, you're a ball of energy. Listen, I believe at the same time, you're going to be a MMA women's champion and the Divas champion at the same time. You're going to be the first woman to ever accomplish this. I truly believe this, but I could tell, man, you are so driven. Go, 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 win, win, win. You're a ball of energy. I love that about you. But now, is Christina the opposite? Is she the Rock of Gibraltar that's there, supportive? Because if she's just like you, I can't even imagine the craziness in the house.
Not only is she just like me, she might be even worse. I mean, we are like a tornado of a couple, and when people meet us, they don't even believe we're together. They're like, what? Like, because we kind of look alike. Everyone's like, is that your sister? It's very weird. But she races cars, she builds cars, she drifts cars, she fights. She wants to be an MMA fighter. She's training. She hasn't had her first fight yet, but she does jiu-jitsu tournaments. She's just as crazy as I am.
So how long have you had a relationship with her?
We've been together 2 years next weekend. Next weekend it'll be 2 years.
Well, I listen, I think what you did was absolutely great. Oh my gosh, if anybody can be a spokesperson for that community, it's you. You have such a great personality. You're so outgoing. I don't know how anybody could meet you and not fall in love with you. So I think, not only what you did was a brave thing, I thought it was just an incredible thing. And you could do just some great things in that area as well.
I hope you're right, and thank you. You know, all the support, the better, and especially from a fellow Italian.
Now you're in California now, though, right?
I'm in Los Angeles, yeah.
And your parents are still in Jersey?
Yeah.
Your whole family's in Jersey then, right?
My whole family, everybody.
How's that working out?
It was hard at first. I mean, like I said, I moved out of my house the day I graduated high school, which everyone's like, oh, you know, did you have a bad family life? I'm like, no, I have the best family ever. I just wanted to do me. I wanted to live my own life and pursue different things. And, you know, so it's hard. I miss them a lot, but I do go see them a lot. I probably go home like 5-6 times a year.
Now, you know, I was talking to you, and you've got to know this, I'm sure. I was talking to my good friend, the Blue Meanie, the other day. We do have the Monster Factory in New Jersey now.
Yes, you do. And I talked to the Blue Meanie, and I talked to a couple other guys down there at the Monster Factory. And I told them the same thing I'm going to tell you. If I ever move back to New Jersey, that will be the door I'll be knocking on.
Now, Daria, I want to ask you this last question, and then we'll wrap it up, because I think this is an important one. And I want you to get your message out to the people watching this. I think this is so important. This is what I love about you, and I saw it in the interviews I was reading about you beforehand. This is what I absolutely love. I think it's fair to say that 95% of the people in your shoes who had the aspirations, you know, of winning something big in their lives. With you, it was tough enough, okay? With people, it's getting that raise or being accepted into that college. It's a number of things. Then when the disappointment comes, okay, now all of a sudden that glass is half empty. Now all of a sudden we're looking at dark and dreary, and the dreams have been crushed, and I'm never going to be able to rebound by this. And it really, you know, in life, you talked about life earlier, that sends people down into spirals. You are here the day after, your smile is lightening up my entire office here. You're looking to the future. I think it's important for you to explain to people, listen, when you're faced with disappointment, when you fall short, you got to learn from that. You got to take that experience and move on. Tell people how you were able to do that like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, this opportunity is nothing but a positive. I got to be in the WWE Performance Center. I got to work with legends. I got to be around legends. I got to do what legends do. This has been nothing but a positive, and that translates to my entire life. I've always been the underdog. I've always been the one underestimated, and I've always come out on top. And that's kind of been my journey, and it continues to be so. You know, I think I should have won. I think I should have won Tough Enough. I think I still can win Tough Enough. But, you know, for some reason or one reason or another, I didn't, and I'm taking a different path to the WWE. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get to the WWE. I think that anything comes with persistence and hard work and consistency, and that's kind of been what all my careers, all my dreams have been based around, my consistency and my resilience. I can't take a bad thing from this entire experience, and I want to let everyone out there know that, you know, you get knocked down, it's for a reason. It's a lesson in life. It's something to use to get you back up, and trust me, these are the things that make you strong. These are the things that make you who you are in life. It builds character, it builds strength and charisma. And my entire life has been that, and that's why I am who I am. So I thank the WWE for this opportunity, and I tell them I'll see them soon, because I know that that's the path that I'm on.
Daria, I think it's very important, and I want to tell you this, we're just interviewing you for however long it was. You know, I know now, you know, you're going to go hard MMA, you're going to go hard WWE, and you're going to succeed. There's no doubt in my mind, but I think it's very important to remember, you know, through all this, you got to inspire people. You know, what you just said was so inspiring. And along the way, man, I think you can really inspire, you know, people that cross paths with you. You're such an uplifting person. I think that's going to be just as important for you as, you know, winning in MMA and making your way to the WWE. I think your personality and your message is just going to be just as important for you.
Well, Vince, I think the same of you. But no, I mean, like I said, you can't get down on yourself. You waste energy by being negative, and I've never been that person. And I just want to tell everybody out there that thinks they can't do it, trust me, my own family didn't think I could do some of the things that I've done, and I've proven them wrong, and it's been an amazing journey, and now I have the support of everybody around me. So there's definitely points to be proved. Stand up for what you believe in, stand up for what you want to do, and don't hold back. If you look at my Twitter thing, it says, don't conform. Let it all out there. I'm a big believer in just being you and doing you, because at the end of the day, nothing is a better feeling than knowing that you're being honest to yourself and true to your character. And that's what I live by. So,
well, Daria, listen, now you've obviously formed a fan base. Please tell us everywhere where we can continue to follow you. I know you mentioned the UFC show. I know you're doing stuff on YouTube, Twitter. Just give you a fan base now where we can keep up with you.
Absolutely, guys. You can find me on Twitter at Tough Daria or DariaB28. You can find me on Instagram at Tough Daria. All other social media, just type in Daria Berenato. I'm on Periscope at Daria the Jersey Devil. Guys, I'll be Periscoping a lot now. I posted some really cool videos today of me training with my boxing coach. I'm going to post some more cool martial arts videos to show you all what this MMA fighter is going to bring to the WWE. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this journey. It's going to be a fun one. So just type in Daria Berenato. You'll find me on all social media.
Well, Daria, now I have to remind you, though, as we make our way up the ladder, don't forget the little people down here that brought you on the show. We gave you the forum. We talked turkey with you, because I don't listen. 6 months from now, please don't be making me go through your people.
You are the opposite of what I would consider a little person, but Vince, I will not forget you. You're definitely on my radar. Anytime I want to say something, I'm going to call you up. I'm going to say, Vince, yo, I want to say something. Give me the microphone.
I love that. I'll put you on the airwaves immediately. That smile, the inspiration. As a matter of fact, when I'm feeling down, I'm going to call you and let you inspire me.
Hey, you made me download this Google Hangout thing now, so call me anytime.
I definitely will. Well, listen, Daria, it was an honor and a pleasure. I love getting to meet people like you. I see nothing but great things for you in your future, and I want to thank you for joining us here today.
No, thank you, Vince. It's seriously an honor sitting here talking to you. You're a legend in your own right, and you should appreciate that.
I'm a legend in my own mind. But anyway, Daria, don't go anywhere, because I want to give you a personal thank you. But there you have it, everybody. Daria Berenato, the next MMA Women's Champion. She's going to be in the WWE. Nothing's going to keep this woman down. I guarantee you. Listen, I talk about it all the time. You've heard me say a million times, the it factor. You have to have the it factor. You just got an example of what I'm talking about. Daria is the it girl with the it factor, and I know that all her hopes and dreams are going to come true. So until next time, I'll see you right here on Vixens Who Rule.
The preceding presentation was brought to you by the Realm Network.